Hi everyone, good evening. Namaskar, Satrikal. So again, the most awaited session of the season is here, and we have the most awaited a person in front of us. Aditya Tripathi is created history this year, 102 out of 102. I mean, it's a special achievement. And we have Chetan sir with us. Chetan sir is the one who's mentored Aditya throughout last year in level 8. So before we move to Aditya, sir, Chetan sir, कैसा feeling आ रहा है पहले तो ये बताओ. How's
सर
the feel?
मतलब पिछले 3-4 खास डेज रिजल्ट के पीछे पड़े हुए थे, तो बड़ा ही अच्छा लग रहा है कि फाइनली आदित्य ने एक सपने को साकार कर दिया, ना सिर्फ खुद के लिए बट हम लोगों के लिए भी। एंड मतलब मेरे को अभी भी ध्यान है कि स्टार्टिंग में जब हमने 2020 में वीओएस का कॉन्सेप्ट स्टार्ट किया था, तो एक बार किसी बच्चे का फुल मार्क्स आया था, ठीक है। तो हम भी डिस्कस कर रहे थे क्या हम भी यहाँ पर वीओएस में फुल मार्क्स लेकर आ सकते हैं। तो फाइनली आदित्य ने हमारे ड्रीम्स को ट्रू किया। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन आदित्य, बहुत बिग अचीवमेंट है यार।
थैंक यू सर।
मतलब बड़ा रेयरली होता है किसी भी कॉम्पिटेटिव एग्जाम में, मतलब नॉट इवन इन आरएमओ, चाहे वो आईओक्यूएम है या मैथ्स ओलंपियाड, आईएनएमओ, या इवन फॉर दैट मैटर कोई भी एग्जाम है, फुल स्कोर करना इज एन इटसेल्फ एन अचीवमेंट, बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट है ये। कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन वंस अगेन आदित्य।
थैंक यू
So,
सर।
Aditya, पहले तो ये बताओ यार, how do you feel? मतलब 102 out of 102, did you expect 102 first of all? And जब आया तो कैसा लगा? I know that you sent a message immediately to me, Chetan sir, and again we celebrated. But मतलब कैसा लगा? Was it real? Did you believe?
So yeah, so I couldn't believe it at first because I thought it was some like loading error or something, some glitch. But then I did realize that I was expecting a higher score, but it's still a surprise and shock. I feel very amazing and happy.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so Aditya, so we will try to keep this session short and we'll talk point to the point because it's a very busy period, special period, and you have to prepare for INMO also. Uh, so I mean, let us walk through your Olympiad journey because there are going to be a lot of students who are going to have the same near 100% marks in maybe exams like RMO and INMO. So they would want to know the journey that you've taken, Olympiad journey particularly, and any roadblocks that you face, right? So we'll start with the 2023 because this is where you started from. Yes. So I'll say, how did it start? IOQM 2023.
Yeah. So I 2023 is the first time I gave a Maths Olympiad paper before, and so IIM 2023 was like notoriously difficult. I think the cutoff upon very low value. The questions are also at a very good standard. So I felt a little demotivated after hitting IOQM because I was scoring like 10 out of 100. At that time, I did not know that Math Olympiads are known for low scores, and people scoring low still have a good probability of qualifying. So I did not expect much about preparing for RMO, and I just lived in the moment at that time. When results did come by, I did qualify, and I felt very happy. And I thought about preparation for the RMO, and I did start around 1 month before the RMO. So for the RMO, at that time, I did not know much. I was not in Vedantu at that time. So I just referred to PYQs. PYQs. I did a lot of PYQs that like maybe the last 10 years of RMO papers. And so PYQs are very helpful. So if you master all the previous year questions, attempt them honestly and do them by yourself, you'll get the idea just in feel of RMO, which is something that every student should have. So when I did write RMO, I solved P3, the S7 question, and P1 I did solve, but apparently they didn't give me any marks for it. So I don't know why, but they didn't give me any marks for it. And then I did solve P5, the inequality. So, but that inequality was partial. I did not attempt P4, and I did not attempt P6 and P2 properly. So after RMO, after the initial scores came out, I did feel pretty comfortable qualifying. I did qualify. Then once I was selected for INMO, I went to the camp. I had fun there, learned a lot. Once INMO started, INMO, it was the first time I had ever given INMO.
So you had gone to INMO TC camp in.
Yeah. I had gone to INMO TC camp in 2023. So when I did give INMO, so INMO is a totally different experience because the exam was and so kind of a marathon. So it's definitely takes a toll on the individual student. And so if a student is unprepared or not confident about his ability to solve the questions and doubts himself during the examination, he definitely won't do it. So that's what happened with me, because the questions that came in INMO, they weren't in 2024 at least. They weren't extremely hard, but they did, require like patience and take it would take time to get a proper authentic solution. So that's something. So what happening in INMO is I'm decent in number theme. So I did the P3 and P3 in INMO, and that is pretty easy as well, I think. Relatively easy, right? And P4 I didn't do half of it. I did the induction case, but then in the end I did mess up, and so I made an error, and then that ruined my entire solution. So that was it. So after the INMO scores came out, I didn't study much math Olympiad. I left it for the time being because I knew I'd have to write boards the next year. I did give MTRP. MTRP was I think, yeah, one down paper. And MTRP is like, it's a mixture of IOQM, RMO. Mixture of IOQM, RMO. I'm pretty good at that. So I qualified. I think just barely, but I did qualify. And then I wrote in 2024. I felt a little bit more confident this year because I written the exam last year and attended the MTRP camp. So and I also did got selected for the first round of Sophie, but I didn't pass the interview round. But I did get selected for the first round of Sophie, so that was also another confidence booster. So when I did give IOQM 24, it was on the easier side, I think, relatively. So and since a lot of the questions were from topics like trigonometry, which is like Bash, and I love bashing. Bashing is one of my favorite subjects. I did do decently well, and then I wrote RMO, and then I did well, so I got 100. That's my journey.
Amazing. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are going to get motivated because I mean, they get swayed by the low scores that they get in IOQM. And again, this is something that you mentioned that I mean, you also realized pretty late that IOQM and Math Olympiad, the real Math Olympiad, are known for the low scores. And even if you score low, I mean, you should not be feeling dejected. So it is going to give a lot of hope to all the students here. Okay, so Aditya, moving on to your journey in Vedantu Olympiad schools, how did you start your journey in VOS and how was the experience in level 8?
So I joined, I think, US for INMO camp 2024 last year, and then I continued there, and then I joined level 8. And I think level 8 is fantastic. So Chetan sir solves all my doubts. I really have regular sessions. It's nice. So I get homework and assignment. That's fine. And I think truly the mock tests were also pretty good. The level of the questions and everything were at a good standard and pace. I had fun solving the questions, and and the difficulty of the mocks did vary a lot too. So that was a good thing as well. Some of them were easier than coordinate, some of them were harder, some of them were on par with INMO. So that's great. And not much else. So everything else is perfect.
Okay, I mean, so Chandra, मतलब, you tell me his experience because you had been discussing about Aditya.
देखो आदित्य काफ़ी इंटरेक्टिव बच्चा रहता था सेशन में, एंड मुझे अभी भी एक इंसिडेंस याद है, मतलब ये अराउंड मई या जून में हमारी एक कॉम्बिनेटोरियल आर्ग्यूमेंट के ऊपर क्लास थी, तो है ना, उसमें हमने अराउंड 10 to 12 काफ़ी अच्छे अच्छे क्वेश्चन थे जिसका हमें कॉम्बिनेटोरियल आर्ग्यूमेंट देना था. तो आदित्य इज़ द वन जो मुझे अभी भी याद है जिसने सभी क्वेश्चंस का पूरा कॉम्बिनेटोरियल आर्ग्यूमेंट लिखकर मैसेज किया था ग्रुप पे भी. तो वो मेरे को, मतलब तभी से आदित्य का नाम वहां से बिल्कुल अच्छे से दिमाग में रहता. जब भी आदित्य त्रिपाठी का नाम आता था कहीं पर भी, ये किसी क्वेश्चन का एक एलिगेंट सॉल्यूशन देता था, तो मुझे दिमाग में सबसे पहले वही वाला मैसेज इसका दिमाग में फिट होता था कि भैया अच्छा ये वही बच्चा जिसने इतना बड़ा मैसेज लिखकर कॉम्बिनेटोरियल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स ऑलमोस्ट हर क्वेश्चन का इसने बताया था. आई होप आदित्य तुझे भी वो मैसेज ध्यान होगा.
Yes, sir. Damn it.
आई रिमेम्बर जब वो मैसेज आया था तो आपने भी हमारे जो इंटरनल ग्रुप है उसमें सर्कुलेट किया था कि ये कुछ कुछ जो इसके थॉट्स थे ऑफ दोस आर्गुमेंट्स वर रियली अमेजिंग. सो मुझे
एट टाइम्स ना बहुत बार होता था इसके सॉल्यूशन काफी, देखो अच्छे अच्छे क्वेश्चंस में एट टाइम्स तक भी होता था, बट बहुत बहुत सारे ना इसके एलिगेंट सॉल्यूशंस होते थे, थोड़े डिफरेंट होते थे जो नॉर्मल अप्रोचेस होते थे. तो होपफुली उसने भी काफी हेल्प किया होगा इसको आरएमओ में परफेक्ट स्कोर लाने के लिए.
Yes, sir, definitely.
ओके आदित्य, वन मोर थिंग इज जो तुम मॉक्स देते थे इन ओलंपियाड स्कूल, तो वहाँ पे मतलब व्हाट वाज योर एवरेज स्कोर? आई मीन दिस इज द
So that's a big question, sir.
we'll start with IOQM mocks.
Yeah, so that's a great question, sir. So actually, I used to score very low in the mocks. So I used to score nearly 20 to 30 or 30 to 40, because the thing is, being dedicated for 3 hours is a very tough task. And giving the mock study is also a very tough task. But I did score very low, so 20 to 30 or something, and in IOK. So I at the time, everything was a on par score, because the cutoff was 10 last year, and the score above 20 is a very good score. So that was that's my the average of my IOQM scores. For RMO I did very little bit. So I did score full in one RMO mock test. I think it was the first one or something. I remember telling Chetan sir that. But after that, I think Chetan sir maybe did that paper. But after that, so I did my marks did decrease because the paper difficulty did increase. So my average was nearly 20, 25, something like that, similar to my score last year, 25 to 30. I was only able to solve one or two questions throughout the entire day with 3 hours and other paper. So it shows that even if you're scoring low in a mock, it does not mean that you won't do well on the final day.
मुझे याद है एक चीज है ना, हुआ था इनफेक्ट फर्स्ट मॉक की बात है, तो है ना फर्स्ट मॉक का आरएमओ का जो फर्स्ट मॉक था, आपको अभी सर ध्यान होगा, हम उसकी कॉपीज इवेल्युएट करने में थोड़ा सा लेट हो गई थी, है ना। एंड कॉपीज इवेल्युएशन के बाद रैंक लिस्ट जो हम अपने टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में डाला करते हैं, वो भी थोड़ा सा लेट हो गया था, क्योंकि आदित्य का उसमें शायद फर्स्ट मॉक में फुल स्कोर आया था। इसने मेरे को पर्सनली टेलीग्राम पे भी मैसेज किया था कि सर अभी रैंक लिस्ट डाला नहीं है, वो प्लीज डाल दो। तो आई गेस आदित्य वहां पर भी अपना नाम पहले टॉपर देखना चाहता था।
अमेजिंग। तो मतलब वो फर्स्ट टेस्ट के बाद हमें मतलब लग गया था कि आदित्य का 102 आया था, बट अगेन सब्सिक्वेंट टेस्ट वी मेड ऑफ वेरी डिफिकल्टी लेवल, थोड़े थोड़े अच्छे भी प्रॉब्लम्स थे। इनफैक्ट वी विल नॉट रिवील द सोर्सेज ऑफ आवर मॉक टेस्ट बिकॉज बाकी लोगों को पता चल जाएगा, एंड वी डोंट वांट, सो वी वांट कि यार जिस तरीके से रॉ हो, तुम जिस तरीके से रॉ सोचते हो उसी तरीके से वो पेपर वन लाइक आदित्य डिड। So 102 in the first level 8 test he performed, and उसके बाद on an average 25 to 30, and he says it was the average of one problem that he was able to solve. Amazing. So when you saw this RMO paper, Aditya, what was the order of the question? That I mean, did you start with 1 to in this order, or do you have any favorite topics?
Yeah. So that's a great question, sir. So what I did is, so I recommend before you start any competitive paper to always look over the questions and see if you can spot any questions from a strong topic that you have. And so when I saw P1, I noticed the A part was very easy, the rearrangement, because there's not much in that question. So I saw the A part, I knew the A part was very easy, so I had that in mind. I solved the A part. And then
This is problem one.
this is problem one, yeah, problem. So once I did solve the A part, I went to the B part. I tried the problem for 5 to 6 minutes, but I realized it's not simple. There's no direct there's no direct method to get the answer for the B part. That's obviously why the question is.
But you figured out
Yeah,
the pattern.
yeah. So I just feel that I'll come back later. So what happens is that when you don't get a question, you shouldn't spend too much time on it. You should move on and skip to another question. So I saw P6. From P1 I went to P6. I saw P6. I saw the formula. I realized that it's similar to mine. I'm pretty good with combi formula, so at least enumerative counting. That's an easy topic. So I plugged in basic small cases, checked the value, saw a pattern, and I solved it completely. I wrote it down. Once I solved P6, I went back for the first question, and I got the idea of induction for the 1B part, and I wrote that down as well. So at that point of time, I think nearly 45 minutes were up, and I had solved P1 and P6. So once that was done, I knew. So I had this target in mind that I should solve at least 3 problems. But I knew that if the paper was easy, or if it did feel a little bit easier, I'd have to push myself and try to solve 4 and a half problems. So after that, what I did is I'm good. My favorite subject is number theory. At least it feels easy for me. At least RMO at the RMO level. So I went to P2 next. I saw P2. Again, P2 is also a very they're all bashy questions. I definitely think that you can bash all of them. A lot of people did bash them. So I bashed the first, I think 50 numbers. I noticed that 1 and 5 only worked, no other number worked. And then
First
I
50,
yes,
50.
no, not 50, 15. That's too much. So not 50, 15. And I noticed that after n equal 10 n equal 11, that something's happening, something strange is happening. But then I have got the idea of splitting n into n by 2, and then I took two cases. One n is odd, n equal to 12, n equal to 12 minus 1. I realized that whenever you calculate the remainder of the number divided by any number that's greater than step of n by 2, that sum is a quadratic. If you like find that sum is quadratic, and since r of n is n minus 1, that's linear, and since quadratic always goes faster than linear, there'll be some bound, and then I finish the problem. So that once you get that idea, it doesn't take long to write. So that took me, I think, 20 minutes maybe. So then I was done with P2. So within 1 hour 5 minutes, 1 hour 10 minutes, I was done with 3 problems. But the thing is, in Olympiad papers like RMO and INMO, once you solve 3 problems or 2 problems, or how many other problems you do solve, it's much more harder to solve the fourth, fifth, and sixth, because it takes much more perseverance and dedication to continue grinding and continue solving and not worrying about the questions you had solved earlier. So once I was done with that, I went to P4. I wrote it half, and then I had the idea. I wrote half of it, then left it. Then yeah, okay. So then I went to P5. P5 I drew the diagram, and so I think the only reason I was able to achieve the score is because I bashed both the geometries. To take I know how to solve it synthetically, but I knew that the bashing solution would take max to max 5 minutes, because it's just like one liner from sine rule. So what I did, I drew the diagram. I saw that it was just sine A plus sine B equal to sine A plus B by 2 cos A minus B by 2. I drew it. I wrote down the solution perfectly, and then I knew that P5 was also done. So at that point of time, I had done P1, P6, P4, P2, and P5. So only P3. Yeah.
Okay, so after doing P5, how much time was left?
So after doing P5, 20 minutes were left. So 20 minutes were left, because P4 and P5 took a lot of time. So I think I think I had 1 hour 30 minutes left, and then it takes a lot of time to write up the solutions, especially on your bashing. In your bashing, you have to make sure you don't leave out any formula or any proof, because it's very easy for the examiner to deduct marks if you bash. So that's why it took so much time for me to write P5 and P4. So once I was done with P5, P4, I had 20 to 30 minutes left. Then I started doing P3. P3 was the last problem in the paper. So since P3, it was a special case of an isosceles triangle. Again, I realized that bashing and formulas like 2r cos A, that came to my way to go. And because I didn't have much time, I wouldn't be able to do a synthetic solution. So I wrote it down. I wrote it in a very hurriedly, messy manner. But conceptually, everything was fine. It was just depending on whether or not the exam collector would be able to identify, like, if my approach was correct or not. And so luckily he did think it was correct, so I did get full.
Amazing. Superb. Again, so doing mocks, Aditya, did it teach you time management? Did you have some kind of idea that how many questions are to be done in this much time, or again, it depended on the paper to paper?
Yeah, so so thing is, I don't set any benchmark or rule for any mock. So because I know each and every mock has a different level of difficulty, and in some mocks the cutoff may be like higher, maybe 50 or 40, and in other mocks the cutoff may drop as low as like 10. For example, if you look at if I talk about INMO 2023, right? INMO 2023, the cutoff was 17. But if you look at INMO 2024, the cutoff is 51. So totally varies. You have to look at the paper, you have to analyze it, you have to think whether or not your competitors can solve more questions. And if so, manage yourself accordingly. That's it.
Okay. So Aditya, by the way, is in grade 10th. And Aditya, so one more question is a lot of people ask how are people in grade 10th are able to manage the boards with Olympiads. So how did your board journey go along with?
I'm struggling a little bit in boards, but yeah. So I think if you're real like passionate about maths, you don't need to put in that much effort, because if you I don't think for RMO especially, if you're good at logical puzzles or if you do any like brain twisters or something daily, that's all the preparation you need. There's not much theory in RMO. I mean, apart from maybe class 12, NCRT, class 7, and then NCRT. Beyond that, it is like, for example, any of the formulas that I use, I just basic trigonometry and some summation of AP. That's it. So those are the stuff that everyone knows. I think the only thing you should worry about is the application of those concepts, and that will come over time and practice. That you can spend maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes per day. That's it. That's not more than that, especially if you're in 10.
So you used to spend around 60 minutes per day.
Yeah, that's it. But I did consistently, so it's not like I'd miss out on a day or anything. And so that those 60 minutes can be done anywhere. Sometimes, like if you have a free period in school, or it doesn't have to be continuous. Especially in math Olympiad preparation, or like it's essential to take breaks while studying. So that's something I did implement as well.
Amazing. Great. Sir, Chiran sir, any other question, any other thing that you think our students are going to ask?
तो कमिंग बैक टू आदित्य दिस थिंग, तो जो आपने बोला कि लॉजिक और पजल्स भी चाहिए होते हैं आरएनओ की प्रिपरेशन के लिए, तो आई एम वेरी श्योर जो हमारा लेवल 8 वाला बैच था उसमें मतलब अपार्ट फ्रॉम द स्टैंडर्ड जो मैथ्स ओलंपियाड के क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, हमने बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस थॉट प्रोसेस के ऊपर किए थे. अगर इफ़ यू रिमेंबर जो इनिशियल 12 लेक्चर्स हुए थे हमारे इन दिसंबर एंड जनवरी, दे ऑल आर मेजरली बेस्ड ऑन लॉजिक एंड पजल्स. तो वो वाले लेक्चर
Yes,
तो
sir.
आपको मतलब कैसे हेल्प किए इन परफेक्ट स्कोर इन आरएमओ?
Sir, actually, I joined level 18, I think, mid of January, so I wasn't able to attend those sessions. But it's not just that. I'm sure you've given like some other problems in this other sessions that were conducted. Those problems definitely helped me a lot. They helped me build my thought process for solving questions.
Amazing. So how well prepared are you for the boards, Aditya?
So I'm not very well prepared, but I'm sure that if I prepare for the next 1.5 months dedicatedly, I definitely do well.
So basically, you plan to, I mean, so what is the plan? So again, I mean, a lot of students are at your stage. I mean, they've played INMO, or they played RM with a very good score. And I've got a lot of messages from parents and students also. And I think this is a good time and good, and you're a perfect person to ask this. What is your plan? I mean, so यहाँ से INMO तक, yeah, and helicopter in both बनाएंगे.
Yeah, I agree, sir. So actually, thing is, boards, at least according to my parents and my family, boards are a little bit more important than INMO. So I am spending a little bit more time on boards. But at simultaneously, I don't advise anyone to stop preparing for INMO. But just try to finish as many previous year questions you can from the INMO, pre- previous year papers, and also spend at least 60 minutes per day. But since I'm you can study for boards at school, then if you spend nearly 6 hours, like including the school, I think that's more than sufficient, at least according to me.
Okay. Hmm. So, Aditya, Ken sir, anything else?
I guess so.
Yeah, so something else I wanted to add. Some resources that I like looked into
Yeah,
for
yes.
some resources that I looked into for preparation are mostly just PYQs. I don't refer to many books. I do refer to some books. I'll name them as well. But I refer to like British Mathematical Olympiad, those round one papers. Those papers were at par, if not a little bit better than RMO. The RMO questions. RMO PYQs are a must. And AIME is also amazing. So the last five questions are pretty good. So AIME and also AMC 10A and AMC 12B. So those are also very good. That's all you need for, I think, at least for IOQM and RMO for this thing, source of questions. And from books and theory, Mont is amazing. So Mont is one of the best books for number theory. EGMO by Even Chen is amazing. A lemma is in Olympiad geometry by T2 and schools also amazing. If for inequalities, you can go for BJ Venkatachala or Sam King Hung, Secret to Inequalities. What else am I missing? Algebra of FE. There's a book called 102. No, 10. I forget the number of problems. 102, 103. No,
T2's books, yeah.
yeah, T2's book. What else? Number 3, geometry.
Number 3 is 104. Geometry is
Oh,
104.
oh, yeah. So 104. Geometry is 107. I think. Am I right? 107. Geometry number 3. Algebra. What is it? So combinatorics, you can go for a walkthrough by combinatorics. I forget the name of the author, but that book's pretty good. So that's a good book. And I also recommend Rishil Mathur's book on combinatorics. I forget the name. I forget the name of the book. What it has some RMO keys and other problems as well from different Olympiads. So the first 3 or 4 chapters are amazing for those books of that book. So that's it. That's all I use for resources.
That is not that's it. I mean, this is a big resource. But my question is, when did you start doing these books?
When did I start doing this book? So I started recently. So I don't complete a book cover to cover. If I see a problem, if I think that the problem is from this particular concept or something, I may sometimes refer to any of the 3 books that I mentioned above. And if I want to learn something new, like some inequality, like maybe Teshibef or something, or some special inequality, then I'll refer to any of these 3 books and do the problems that come along with it. Apart from that, there's nothing else much that I do.
Okay, and so you are in grade 10. So again, I'm assuming that you started everything. I mean, at least some part of this in grade 9.
Yeah. I started. Let me see the books I mentioned. I started at the beginning of 2024. Yeah. No. In grade 9, I didn't do much.
In 2023 or from 4?
4. I only 2024.
4, 10. So these all things you started in class 10. So it is 1 year preparation that took you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So basically, you saying 2023 you did not prepare much for Athi. You just gave it for the sake.
I gave it casually. I didn't prepare it properly.
Amazing. So this is 1 year preparation, guys. That is taken Aditya from, let's say, 25 marks in around 2026 to 102. That is so amazing, and that is going to give a lot of motivation to all the students who think that Maths Olympiad is going to take a lot of time. So again, we have Aditya. But again, the point is, Aditya, have you been doing a lot of puzzles, logic, all these things, Sudokus, I mean, in smaller grades?
Yeah. So it's not like I started doing this in 3rd or something. I've not done this. No, I started in 8th. I think I was my dad's like keen to loves maths, so he also introduced me to math and stuff like that. So yeah, I do Sudoku. I do what else do I do? Crosswords. So those are sometimes occasionally. Those are always fun activities to do and ways to get rid of stress and pressure. So I've done that from 8th and 9th. That's something I'm in.
Super. So thank you, Aditya, for the time, and thank you for answering all the questions. I'm sure this is going to motivate a lot of the students. And again, 1 year of dedicated preparation, and again, as he said, 60 to 65 minutes or 1 to 2 hours every day, but with consistency can get you there. So it is the consistency which is the key. And of course, I mean, formal preparation is started in class 10th only. But otherwise, puzzles, Sudoku, crosswords are the things that definitely help you, because ultimately वो सोचना सिखाते हैं. They help you think. This is one of the problems which students face in school. They're not able to think because there's a method, का concept पता है, and you've already been told कि इसको ऐसे ही करना है. So there's no thinking involved as far as most of the school concepts are involved. But these things, chess, puzzles, Sudoku, crosswords, logical problem which Chetan gives in the class, they definitely help you think. So spend time on these. Okay, any last word, Chetan sir, कुछ last में anything that you remember?
No, thank you, Aditya. Thank you very much for your time. And इनफैक्ट ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर INMO. एंड ये आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा. इनफैक्ट हम भी अपने फ्रेंड को यही कहते रहते हैं कि INMO के लिए द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस इज INMO प्रीवियस ईयर्स. एंड एक उसी के लिए हमने एक ट्रैकर भी फिलअप करके सभी बच्चों को दिया हुआ है। आई एम वेरी श्योर तेरे को भी मिला होगा, ग्रुप पे भेजा था मैंने। तो वो ट्रैकर ज़रूर फिलअप करना, उससे आपको भी आपकी इनमो की प्रिपरेशन का ट्रैक रह पाएगा एंड हम भी काफ़ी अच्छे तरीके से जज कर पाएंगे कि एग्जैक्टली कहाँ हमें इम्प्रूवमेंट का ज़रूरत है। तो दैट्स इट फ्रॉम माय साइड। वंस अगेन ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर इनमो, एंड इनमो में भी आप सिमिलर साइज स्कोर लेकर आओ।
Okay, sir.
All the best, Aditya, for INMO. God
Thank
bless.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye.